TDS is a game centered around defeating various game modes ranging in difficulty, from easy mode with basic low health enemies and 25 waves, all the way to hardcore mode with various complex enemy types and a whopping 50 waves. In today's video, I will be attempting the TDS Iron Man challenge, which means I will have to beat every game mode starting from easy mode all the way to hardcore mode. If I die even once, I will have to start all the way back from the beginning with easy mode. Sounds pretty simple, right? Wrong. Before we start, I need to establish a few rules that make this challenge nearly impossible. Rule 1. I cannot use consumables or restart any games. Rule 2. I must use matchmaking for every match and must play with randoms so that I cannot strategize beforehand. Rule 3. I must choose to play in a quad for every game mode, but hardcore, so that I am even more dependent on my teammates and for an extra challenge. With all these rules now in place, I decided to start my first attempt at this challenge.
Easy!
Easy mode is incredibly easy, even for new players. Since I wasn't too worried about losing my first game, I decided to do a little bit of trolling and bring Snowballer. Once loaded into the game, my teammate, Dark Lord, was very insistent that we play on Fungi Island, which we did. I then began to carry the team by defending with Snowballer while my other teammates played soldiers and snipers. Clearly, one of my teammates, Bro Hot Dog 4, wanted to outdo my amazing defense and proceeded to place a military base and then instantly leave the game. As a trio, we carried on all the way to wave 25 where the brute began to make his way towards the exit. After my snowballers absolutely carried the game and shredded the brute, it was time to move on to the next game mode.
Oh my god!
Casual mode being casual mode was incredibly boring. It was so boring in fact, that I just had a conversation with my team the entire time while we blew through all the enemies including Gravedigger. So yeah, let's just move on to...
I am a surgeon!
For one of my personal favorite game modes, Intermediate, I brought a simple inventory of Freezer, Trapper, and Rocketeer. Our team opted to choose an easy map, so I defended the early game with Trappers. While I did this, my teammates farmed while one of my teammates, Dark Lord, towered menacingly over my Trappers. I don't know about you guys, but I would be pretty scared if I was the Trapper in this situation. I then upgraded my Trappers, placed Freezers, and a few Rocketeers, and we had our showdown with Patient Zero. With such a strong defense of minigunners, crook bosses, mercenary bases, and even a few cowboys, Patient Zero stood no chance. With that, it was time to move on to...
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
For Molten Mode, I decided to get creative and bring only freezing towers. Fittingly to this challenge, we chose Iceville as our map. The match wasn't very interesting, but my teammates sure were. Take these two for example. Does anyone else feel like these two shouldn't be allowed within 30 feet of each other? Don't worry, I'll save Daxermy 1. Hey Cornman, police are on their way. Welp, he got out of there in a hurry. Jokes aside, we were easily able to make it to the final wave, where we microed our towers and took down the Molten Warlord. Now that we had humiliated yet another boss, let's move on to the next game mode.
I've fallen, and I can't get up!
Fallen mode would be the first game mode I would actually have to try to win. This match would also be the perfect example of why squads are not ideal for this challenge. At the very beginning of the match, one of my teammates instantly left, leaving the three of us remaining to defend on squad cash. This was definitely not ideal, since if I lost here, I would have to restart all the way back from easy mode. Even with this unlucky start, I was able to place a G Crook boss to help this jester defend the early game while the rest of my teammates farmed. Eventually, I was able to place more G Crook bosses while my teammates finally began to defend. With mortars, rangers, and Crook bosses, we were easily able to make it to the final wave, The Fallen King didn't even make it around the map's loop before falling. Huh, get it? Because the Fallen King... You know what, I'll just shut up. After finally bringing the Fallen King to his knees, I could finally move on to the next part of this challenge. For Badlands, it was really time to lock in, since not only did it have strong enemies, but it also had 3 different paths to defend. I began by placing an electroshocker, while my teammates assisted with a quick boss and another electroshocker. After a bit of farming, our defenses were looking strong. We now had even more electroshockers and a quick boss along with a commander and a militant. At wave 15, I began to place mortars due to their high damage and incredible
crowd control potential.
By wave 30, our DPS was incredibly strong with accelerators, pursuits, rangers, and military bases. What could go wrong? I'll tell you what, the gunslinger had 720,000 health and a straight shot at our base. Yeah, we got cooked. This meant I had to start all the way back to easy mode. After nearly 2 hours of grinding, I was once again back to Badlands, and this time I was ready. With my new team, I was finally ready to... Oh my god! Yeah, we lost. No worries though, because after another 2 hours of non-stop TDS, I am finally back, and this time I am so ready. Dude, you can't be serious right now. It's fine, because with the power of editing, these 2 hours will be almost like they didn't even happen. Now I really am ready. Oh my god! Okay, I've been on TDS for way too long. This is my final attempt. Oh, for the love of... It was now officially day 2 of this challenge, and it was safe to assume I was not going to beat Badlands unless something changed. So... yeah, that's right, I'm changing the rules. For the sake of my sanity, I am now allowed to play in trios. This way, I'll be able to make more money and there will be a smaller chance of my teammates leaving. But wait, before we continue, please like and subscribe. It's completely free and it helps support my content. Also, if you feel up to it, consider joining my Roblox group for the chance of winning giveaways that I do every once in a while. Link in the description. Anyways, without further ado, let's get back into the video. Using trio mode, Badlands went from a nightmare to a dream. None of my teammates left, and using trio cash, we were easily able to afford enough defenses to chip down the gunslinger's HP and finally move on to the next game mode. Thank God. Polluted Wastelands. This game mode features some of the strongest enemies in the game, including the strongest boss in TDS history, coming out at just wave 25. While this may seem like an impossible challenge, the few waves and mostly strong enemy spam would actually be easy. Why, you ask? Well, to compensate for the strong enemies, Polluted Wastelands does not feature many different enemy types, like other game modes. This causes it to be laughably easy, since at the time of recording, it was pre-Swarmer nerf. So by placing just a few Swarmers, we're easily able to triumph the game mode without breaking a sweat.
O cholera, czy to Freddy Fazbear?
Pizza Party was the last of the special game modes, and I was now feeling pretty confident in myself after going on a 6 winning streak. I started by placing an electroshocker to help defend in the early game, and then began to farm. I then got both mortars and pursuits for damage and crowd control, and finished everything off with commanders for support. Along with my teammates' high DPS towers, we were able to blow through the waves and kill walks. This meant it was time for the final and iconically hard game mode with randoms, Hardcore. For Hardcore, I knew I definitely needed to bring Swarmer for its insane DPS. I also brought Commander for its support, Electro for its incredible stalling, and Pursuit for added flight detection and DPS. I started by placing an electroshocker to defend the early game, and instructed my teammate to help by placing a gold pyro while my other teammate farmed for ace pilot. We blew through the early game with ease and were just able to kill the Mega Slow on Wave 19 with the help of my Swarmers. On Wave 25, we were able to deal with 3 Shadow Bosses with my teammates Excel and Golden Mini. After this, we blew through the rest of the waves with ease until it was the final wave. If I died here, it would be all the way back to easy mode, and it would take around 4 hours just to get back to this point. Luckily, with Swarmer's insane DPS, we were able to take down the Void Reaper and finally end this challenge. In total, this challenge took me over 15 hours of non-stop grinding to complete. Without the needed rule change on day 2, I don't think this challenge would have been possible at all. This was easily one of the hardest TDS challenges I have ever done. With all that being said, if you want me to attempt this challenge again but without changing the rules, just leave a like, and if you'd rather watch another one of my videos, click on the 2 shown on screen now. Anyways, thank you so much for watching and glitched out.